Let's start with the whole question of Marsha Caddle. I think that was probably one of the big ticket items in the move. Her shift was a surprise. As I indicated yesterday, I was personally disappointed because I thought that she brought considerable energy and intellect to the cabinet. You will recall that this is the second time that she appeared to decline to play a role in the cabinet, and I tend to think that it would be very much harder for her to walk this one back and find herself back in the cabinet again. However, we've had MPs in the past, in the BLP administration, in previous BLP administrations, that have left the cabinet and have come back under a new leader. So depending on the length of time that Prime Minister Mottley and both herself remain in politics, it's entirely possible. She has indicated a commitment to the Barbados Labour Party, and I think that speaks volumes about her intentions politically. So I think that we need to keep an eye on that one and watch her for the future. Corey Lane, his decision to step down is also, I think, a laudable decision. Look, the open secret in Barbados, of course, is that there is an investigation. He has indicated that he's not been charged, and I think that we're all happy to hear it hasn't led to that. But at the same time, once questions are being asked, it's useful that he has chosen to step out of the way in his own personal interest, because it gives him the opportunity to focus on his family. And then secondly, it gives the authorities a relatively free hand in any perceptions of hypocrisy and so on, where others were asked to step aside when there were similar inquiries being made. I think that it's useful that he's done this. I don't believe we've heard the last of Corey Lane. And my feeling is that he will be a significant player in the politics of the future. And I think that this is something that he will overcome. The other shifts were, I would say, less interesting. Chad Blackman has taken on education, which I think is a heavy lift for a person who is a relative newcomer to the cabinet. It's clear that the Prime Minister has significant confidence in him because he's taken on a ministry that spends a substantial part of our national budget. And, in the past, we've had persons like Prime Minister Mottley herself, former or current Deputy Prime Minister, Santia Bradshaw, have all been ministers of education, and we assume that it's often a landing spot for leadership. In Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Persad, she was education minister. In St. Kitts and Nevis, Tim Harris became prime minister. He was education minister. So it appears as though leaders often have a brush with education, certainly, and if he sees himself in that way, that's useful. The other appointments I don't think carry as much significance. The shifts around in terms of education, and I think that the new minister coming in is of significant interest to us, largely because the vast majority of us don't know him. And I think we will now have to get to know him in that role. And again, the Prime Minister seems to have considerable confidence in him. I see his post as a technical one. And I think it's slightly more technocratic. I don't believe that he has a future in politics per se, and I would be very surprised if he moves from this to the electoral. But I think that his is more a technical one. So those are my main observations on the shake-up, one could say, of cabinet, precipitated by persons deciding to opt out. And I think that the bases have been reasonably covered, and I don't know that it has any negative impact on the administration's ability to deliver going forward.
And you obviously don't think that this was as a result of any rifts in the party?
Well, I mean, I would say no. I don't think that there's a rift in the party. I know that the naysayers have been suggesting that this is the case. I think the Corey Lane, step down is based on events that have absolutely nothing to do with the politics of the Barbados Labour Party. And Marsha Caddle has indicated that she has a difference of opinion, and as I indicated in the past, we have had ministers step down from the Oinata administration. He at the time indicated that he had a difference of opinion. We subsequently found out what that difference of opinion was. It was a matter of principle for him. And he rejoined the Mottley cabinet substantially later, with his integrity intact. It is entirely possible that Marsha Caddle will do the same thing too. I don't think that this is an indication that there's any widespread dissent within the government. I don't see it. So as I said, I understand the naysayers are making that suggestion, but it doesn't wash with me, I'm afraid.